Change just with
just how we're playing in the offense and whatnot. Yeah. The program is still, I mean, it's on a great path to really have a good season. Right now, spring ball is all about everybody trying to get better. How do the receivers get better with the quarterbacks and O-line? How are they working together? So I think that's really where we're at right now as we get to about the midway point of spring ball. It's kind of, figuring out who we're going to be. Coach Day talks about, like, what type of team are we, still trying to figure everything out, and that's what practice is all about. So just kind of, I think that's where we're at right now.
Hartline said you're like a star in the classroom. I mean, you got to be all of that, right? On the field, in the classroom, the whole,
Yeah. I think I'm thankful that he said that, and I think that's what he has kind of implemented in the room, and I'm appreciative of that because it gives guys a chance. Like, you, just because you're a good player on the field, there's a lot of other pieces of life that can make you different, and that's what you'll hear him say a lot is be different. Those seniors last year were different because they were leaders, they were great players on the field, they were great boyfriends to their girlfriends, stuff like that. So I think we're all just really trying to get better at that and become more than football players.
Have you gotten a chance to reflect on your journey from walk-on to scholarship to now 5th year of eligibility and a chance to make a real impact in that rotation with some openings coming up?
Yeah, I've thought about it before, and it's really cool to just think of where I came and just thankful for the people that have helped me get there, but also just hit a different level where, like, this is the last year, so what do I have to do to make that happen? With still having that attitude of where did you come from. I think that's kind of can give, everybody has a different story, and that's kind of something for me that can be like a chip on my shoulder to play harder or try to play better. So yeah, I've thought about it. I don't think about it because I don't expect anybody to give me anything at the same time. But yes, I would say it's cool.
KJ comes back to that H-back spot, but Paris leaves. What have you learned from those two guys in the past 3 years?
A ton. I think we did a great job, especially last year, just helping each other in every route, like whether it's top ends or reading coverages or in the meeting room. We were able to do a lot together, and I thought some stuff I learned from them was really playing fast, playing with a lot of speed can help your receiver play a ton, because Paris, obviously, everyone saw what he did, an extremely fast player. So how can you do that in the route and in a game is big, and kind of just learning. As I have a little bit of game experience over the past 2 seasons, not a ton. That's a big thing that I take from them is, how do you stay composed under that sort of pressure, and how do you do in this sort of coverage where it's in a game, it doesn't look exactly like practice.
How deep is this room right now? I mean, do we have
we got
2 flights, 3 flights?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I think we got a ton of talent, and I think we're only going to get better. With spring ball and summer and fall camp, there's so much room to get better for every single one of us, whether you've been here for 4 years, 5 years, whether you played a ton of ball or not. We have a ton of good players that are bought in and want to get better, want to listen to Coach Hartline and Coach Day, Coach Wilson, learn the offense, help however you can. So, yeah, I would say we're pretty deep.
And you see your path to the field as well, right?
Yeah, I'm always working at that too, but rooting for my teammates at the same time.
CJ, I think it was 2 years ago that you had that really big game against Army. I think it was Army.
Yeah.
What have you been working on since then, and what is it going to take for you to get back to that level of production and be consistent?
There's a lot that's gone in over the last 2 years. The biggest thing was just, being effective in the run game was the first step, and getting stronger and being able to be durable in my routes. And I think I've done that by gaining weight, gaining strength, trusting the weight stats process and what they had planned for me. The next step would be working on my speed, and I think with the weight room, that has became a big part of my game. Because I've always felt like I've been comfortable with my hands, my top ends, my routes. Okay, now how do you get the athleticism? And that's all hard work. So I think just over the last 2 years, it's been a lot of growing into my body as an athlete versus just a receiver.
What's your weight now? What's your weight now, CJ?
188.
And that's up from this time a year ago?
Yeah.
What?
Last year I was around 184, 185.
I know you were giving us your whole diet, et cetera.
Yeah, so that's, just the whole, getting older to another year of weight room and eating and stuff has been able to help me this winter. It wasn't quite as hard to get that extra couple pounds, but I've been able to feel comfortable in my routes and in my play, being able to be fast, still at that extra weight that I'm not used to.
Is it comforting knowing you'll probably never be a fat man, though?
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. My dad's not really too big either, so I'm bigger than him though. But yeah.
CJ, Coach Hartline talked about the leadership that you have in the room, and I think that might surprise some people since you take the production first.
Yeah.
Do you consider that part of your role for this team?
Yeah, I think I take pride in definitely being able to be a leader and be relied upon. That's what kind of said it earlier. Just with Coach Hartline, his thing is there's so much more than just production. I haven't had on Saturdays the most production out of the room, but that doesn't mean I can't influence guys and lead them in the right direction and teach them stuff that I know that helps me be a better receiver. So yeah, I definitely take a role.
You talked about the way you grade out on the tests. I mean, are they easy for you, or those?
Yeah.
Why are you setting the tone on those?
Yeah, I think it's just the whole thing about how are you going to separate yourself. And for me, just putting everything I know onto a route, it's more than just saying, okay, run a go ball. There's a lot of things into a go ball. It's not just that easy, you know. And people that have been around the game know that. So writing it down, Coach Harlan has always said, if you write it down, you have a better shot of actually doing it. You're more likely to do it when you get in that role. And for me, I think just showing the younger guys, like, this is what I've been told. I mean, I've never been in the pros, but Coach Harlan has done it. And, I mean, I keep going back to him because I fully believe in what he's done and taught me. So that's kind of why I do a lot of detail in my routes and like what the play looks like, because I want to envision it. So when I get in that spot, I know exactly what to do.
Does this spring feel different for you, knowing that Paris isn't here and that you probably have your biggest opportunity to get on the field this year?
Yeah, it's different in the sense of you're exposed to more of a role with whether it's the ones or whatnot. But the good thing about Ohio State spring ball is that everybody gets reps. So the last 2 years of spring ball, I've been able to play a lot of football and improve my game. This is definitely a different year in the sense that being that fifth year, you need to be more of a vocal leader. You need to step up in different ways than was last year. Because last year you said we did have Paris. Okay, how are we going to feel that this year? Is that me not yelling at guys but being more vocal? Is it me I got to make every play, and not saying I need to be perfect, but also be someone that can be relied upon? And yeah, I definitely say there's a different feel this spring.
I know Jalen Gill's another guy who's been competing at that H spot.
Yeah.
What's the competition been like with him?
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't even use the word competition. It's more just helping each other get better. I think I have a lot that I can help give to him. He's a great athlete, and how he played running back in high school, so he's still trying to learn receiver. How can I help him become the best receiver he can be? And he's doing the same thing, pushing me. And I think all the H's and positions in general work together, the Z's, the X's, to help each other become better players.
What kind of things do you see out of him in practice? What kind of things do you see out of him?
He's a really explosive player. If he gets the ball in his hands, he has a shiftiness to him that he can move side to side real well, make people miss. And he's getting a lot better with his hands. Which is really impressive, and a big part of receiver play in his routes, being able to clear guys and get into his routes. So I'm really impressed with how he's came in that area of his game.
Hey CJ, can you tell us more about these tests? Are they daily? Is it more like a pop quiz? Is it ACT, SAT? Is it always choose C if you don't know the answer? I mean, what are these tests like?
Thankfully, it's not any ACT or SAC stuff, but it's more of just it's before, so in the spring ball we have our Saturday practices, or before the spring game or before a game. Coach Hartline and Coach Bailey would give us these tests where they'll have 5 kind of like open response, where he's going to ask you a question: what type of coverage do we expect? What do you do in zone coverage? Kind of those type of questions about receiver play. And then it'll be a diagram. It'll be the field in the O-line, and then you draw the formation and the routes. And that's what I was talking about, the details. So you can draw, where's your catch point, where's your landmark, where do you want to line up, why do you want to line up there? That's where you can really be different and add a lot of details and show, really what you know about the game.
Do you have to bring a pencil to these practices? Or, I mean, it sounds like classroom work.
Yeah, it's not the same as classroom work in the sense that you don't really have to study. You're studying is paying attention in the film room and watching film and listening to the coaches talk. But yeah, they have everything in there. It's not really too serious in the sense of you need to pass this, but you can also show what you know, and you can also show what you don't know. So it's a good way to improve your stock, I would say.
Great.